What's up, guys, and welcome to the first episode of the Unmuted podcast. Today, we talk about leadership and mental health, what it's like to take responsibility as a student. Today, with us, we have Rajveer, an IBDP student. IBDP has just started. How's it treating you?
It's quite fun. I mean, it's just been pressuring a lot. I don't think so. There's a break in IBDP, and the kilo has already started. Like, it's just been a month.
Really?
Yeah.
I always felt like this was the calm before the storm, before everything just ramps up and we have like a 10,000 different IAs to write.
That's true, but I mean, I have transitioned to a new school. So because of that, I feel like the way I expected like my previous school to operate is not similar to that, and then we just have exams on and on. But I mean, it's manageable, so it's not that bad.
So this is like a perfect transitioning point because you had a lot of different projects and a founder of Inner Bliss, Outreach Oasis, and even the strategy head of MCOP. So how do you like balance it, with joining a new school and starting the IBDP?
So for me, I feel like extracurriculars has always been a very important part of who I am, per se. So I always try to make sure that I give enough time to academics and extracurriculars both. So I mean, it's just not that I have to create a balance for it. It's just there in my life because it's something I give priority to equally. So I always ensure that while I'm doing academics, I always have some of the other extracurricular that I care about.
I completely agree. Without my sports, without my golf, without my football, my weekends would be way too boring because partying is not enough. So, as clearly you're a leader for sure, heading multiple projects. What do you think? What is a one quality you think every leader must have if they want to like head a team or even a solo project, for example?
I think like one thing that's really important for leaders like ambition. I think leadership starts from there because no one will follow you, no one will understand what you want unless you have a clear set vision or you have ambition for something that you're truly passionate about. So I think leadership starts from there. It can be very small, it can be very minute. But when you think of something and you believe that you can achieve it, I feel like that's the start of you becoming into a leader. So definitely ambition.
I think I completely agree. What I've always understood is that when I'm trying to explain something to my team and they're not clear and I'm not clear on what I want to tell them, it's always quite messy. It's always first I need to organize my thoughts, make my notes, and be ready so that, the message is clear. So continuing on that and working with the team, what's one moment in your life, working in a project, you felt like, oh my God, that's a lot on my plate and I'm having to juggle and manage a bunch of tasks at the same time.
So, like recently for Inner Bliss, we had an internship program which we did, and going in, I had like set expectations with my team, which I thought like they would be able to fulfill. But clearly, like the vision was so far ahead for at least for me, or I feel like I wasn't able to explain them, and it ended up just me taking over the entire thing. So it was at a point where I was handling 60 interns worldwide, virtually for Inner Bliss, and that was like a moment where I was just like, this is a little too much for me and I should be more like upfront with my team and have my expectations in front of them because I clearly can't handle everything. And that like program I realized was quite messy, which is why we had to stop it for some time. And it was like a learning moment for me to understand that I need to incorporate more team members and make them understand what I want to do because this definitely something I can't manage or like operate on myself.
So to build further on that, is it always fun being a leader? Or is it like sometimes, being the leader, there's like always a burden on you that you need to always perform at your 100% and set the right example, which is always a given. You need to, if what you expect from your employees or team members is what you should showcase to them as well. So is it like sometimes a burden to you being the head of a project?
No, I don't think so. It's a burden at all because at the end of the day, it's something I'm doing because I like doing it. I enjoy doing it. And I know I'm answerable to people, but that's the joy of it. It tells me that I have people to answer to. I have someone who's relying on me. So if I don't do my work or if I'm not putting my 100% in, there are people who are relying on me, and I think that's something that drives me to do work. So it's never like burden, I would say. And for me as a leader, at least how I keep myself to be is that I'm up to failure. I'm okay with it. I have a lot of space open for failure, but I try to embrace it as much as I can. So even though I might not come to a room with my 100% or I might not have the clearest idea, I try to make it very visible that okay, I'm also at ground zero over here, so I need you to like be at the same level as me and help me come to ground like above you or like get us above, and then we both can understand how to operate and go ahead with that. And I think that's the beauty of leadership. at any given point of time, you as a leader can allow someone else to be the leader at the same time, which I think works really well.
I think I completely agree, and people out there can also relate because there's times that I haven't been as prepared as I would have liked to. Whether it's Mun, because I believe you do that as
Yeah.
well, and it's like you just have to put on this sort of face and this sort of persona that you've got it all together, and sometimes that may not be the case. Whether it's stuff happening outside of the project or stuff happening with the project at home. So my first question, my major question, focusing and deep diving on the aspect of leadership and what it's like to be a student. What are the advantages of being a student leader? Like, for example, being the leader of a team. How does it help you when it comes to education, presentation, confidence, stuff like that?
I feel like when you're a leader, irrespective of whatever you're doing, especially like since you specified high school, I think it helps you find who you are, like your true calling. And I feel it adds a lot of layer and depth to your personality. And I feel like, I mean, in high school, even I'm lost. Every one of us are lost. We don't know who we are. We're still trying to figure out what exactly we want to do, what we're passionate about. And being a leader just opens doors to you for that. It gives you more clarity. It makes you realize what you like doing and what you don't like doing. And it also pushes you out of your comfort zone, which I think is very, very important, because if you don't do it now, you probably won't be able to do it ever.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you. And I think this is a message out there to all the parents that we should realize this earlier than not, that putting our kids in putting your kids, I mean, in fields such as MUN and debate and public speaking events, it helps them build their confidence and presentation skills that are very useful when it comes to presenting a project. If you've taken like global perspectives in the 10th grade, it's very important that the way you write, the way you speak, the language you use is key to delivering a good IR or a good team project. So that's a guaranteed aspect, I think, that is required. And I completely agree with you that being a student leader is useful. But like, do you think being a leader in school changes the way your peers, your student fellow friends, teachers see you? Do they like delegate more tasks to you because always elect you to be captain? Like, for me personally, it always with sports, I was always expected to like take charge, whether it was organizing an event, playing the event, or like being captain. It's like regardless of whether I wanted to or not, it was kind of like expected from me. So what are
Yeah,
your
no,
thoughts?
100%. I feel like there are some expectations which people come up with, and when you are a leader, you're on the public eye. When you're a member, they don't. You do more of the background work. People don't really know you for the project. But then when you're a leader, it's like your project. Whatever happens, irrespective of how successful it is or not, they know it's by you, and you are the one who headed it. So after that, I feel like even people like even in school, and I know it's happened with you as well. Like teachers who you don't know, and once you develop, like you come into secondary, you come into 11th, like as and when you keep progressing, more and more teachers and more of the administration get to like be involved with you, and they already know the work you're doing. So there's like an added layer of expectations that whenever they want to do something, they're like, oh, he's done this before and he probably like likes doing it, so he has to do it now, and they try to include you in it.
So
Which definitely is.
perfectly to add on to that, do you think that means you're being held to a higher standard? Do you think like, suppose if, for example, my fellow friend who's not really led a lot of projects or something in his life, and he was to underperform at a task, and you were given the same task and you were to perform at the same level, would it be like more expected for you to not have done that and have delivered the 100% and the perfect outcome?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like it's happened a lot of times with me as well. That I was put into areas where like I really said I don't have like time and I don't want to do it, but it's still expected, saying that you have done it before, so why can't you do it now? And then if I don't perform well, they're like, what's wrong? Like, why aren't you doing it that well? You're supposed to do. In fact, the problem is that because you've done it already before, because I've experienced, they expect you to do it better. So if you do it worse, there's like that's not even up to discussion. You at least have to do it to the level you have done it, and if you have not, then that's obviously you're put at a higher standard. There's a lot of expectation from you regardless, compared to a new person. And a new person still gets the thing that, oh, they have not done it really like before, and that new person is usually under you, so they have to be in your guidance. So 100%.
But do you think like that's okay for them to believe that? Like yes or no? Like yeah, they
No,
should.
I don't think so.
No, I completely agree because I feel like there's sometimes external factors. Now, they can talk about in these external factors. Have you ever experienced like sort of anxiety or depression, stress, or the most like what everyone's so worried about, especially in 9th and 10th, is burnout.
Yeah.
Not doing too much. Have you ever felt that way?
I wouldn't say like depression or burnout or anything. I know it's very, very common and it's completely okay. But stress is something that I definitely feel like I deal with a lot, because obviously no matter how much I like doing something, there's a stress to it, because again there's expectations, and there's also self expectation that if I've signed up for something, if I have responsibility, I want to deliver, and that's a given. And I mean academic stress, so let's not begin with. I mean we all have that, and we all have taken a course which is so demanding, which is so rigorous. So that's another level of stress that's always there. Because if you are doing so much, it's for a reason. It's because you want to go somewhere nice and you want to actually achieve something. So that stress of like not being able to perform well, or if you do not perform well once, does add on to it. So 100%.
Yeah, and I think I completely agree. Like the IBDP is completely squeezing everything out of us, making sure
Yeah.
we're working 24/7, and our time management is on point at all times. So it's very hard to balance extracurriculars and academics and partying, and of course the most wanted sleep. Like I don't know when is the last time I got a full
Yeah,
8 hour
same.
sleep. Like, what about you?
I don't think so. I think like especially since 11th has started, like at least we had summer before this, so it was good. But now like I struggle to even get like 3 hours of sleep on a day. I like slept for 3 hours yesterday myself. So
Oh, but like,
yeah.
me being an athlete, I kind of have to prioritize my sleep quite a bit. So I tend to get above the 5 hour mark, especially on the weekends. But waking up early and going for golf is not
Yeah.
happy to the body. So you know what? Let's take away from the leadership part and let's dive a little bit more on what pressure and responsibility can do to a person. And when you're leading a project and the pressure gets so much, what's your coping strategy? What is your go-to method, go-to person, or video, music, dance, drawing, whatever it may be?
Um Usually I try to like do whatever I'm feeling at the moment. I try to like go, I like to self isolate. I don't like to really talk to people, because then at the same time for me it's like if I'm talking to someone and I'm just like ranting or venting, I personally don't like ranting or venting, because then it's just like I'm being unproductive. Like what's the point of me cribbing about it when I could just be doing the work? But obviously since I'm like kind of burnt out, I'm getting too pressure that I just want to take a break. Usually I'll just go and like play music, or I'll go like watch a video game, like or like play a video game, or I'll just take rest, like small naps, just like self time to yourself, just being like in isolation for some time can also help. Just watch like a Netflix show or something. Any kind of like self time and isolation helps me a lot. But I try to keep it minimal, because you never know when you can go off track and just get distracted. But yeah.
So like that's amazing, and I think everyone, at least most people, have at least always opened music or watched a video or movie or just like just been with themselves without
Yeah.
the world around you at all times. But I personally always used to love sports, like just getting away from the mental work and doing something physical, whether it's the gym, football, or any sport, for example. I used to always like take my mind off whatever is there. But there's a lot of people out there, of course, who prefer talking to someone, and I always also there's a times where I've preferred having a friend there to talk and express my feelings to,
Yeah.
whether it's something serious or not. And I think that's important. So now, that friend's job is basically to support us, but friends are always gonna, friends change, come and go, relationships change. But school, something that at least I was in the current school for about 15 to 16 years, and now you've just joined a new school.
Yeah.
So we have two different perspectives here. But do you think school provides us with a right platform and the support we need to deal with our mental stress and the work we go through? Like our school has something called the enrichment cell. So that does a fairly good job at doing that. But what about the new school you've gone to?
I mean, if I'll be fairly honest, I don't think so. It helps quite a lot, or like at all, because the level of advice they give you is very basic, and most of the things that you want to tell them, which is probably affecting you, they will end up going and telling your parents, at least from my experience. So I personally, and it's not like I'm getting any clinical help over there. If in case it gets to that level, at the end, all I'm doing there is just going and venting, and I have to like they don't even know the context of my entire like life situation. So I personally find it better to rely on a friend or a family member who at least knows me and will not go and tell something. I don't think so like school has the like level and ability to at least understand just stress and like proper problems such as those. If you are like genuinely dealing with something clinically, then I feel like maybe they could. But to a person who's not like having a disorder, just having like normal academic stress or feeling burnt out, feeling anxious, I don't think so. Like the cell or anything that the school is able to provide is that helpful.
So I think that's true. And my main reason would be because it's usually done in a group setting, and people aren't very open when they are with their friends or people who may judge them or
Yeah.
make fun of them for something they may express. So that's one of the deterring factors from people being completely open. And I think there's always that sort of in the back of your head that this is something I didn't want to tell my parents, and that's why I'm telling you. And if I have the stress that you're gonna go tell my parents, then the point's lost.
Yeah.
And yeah, so this perfectly ties into your campaign, Inner Bliss. So what are things you're doing to promote people being more open with therapy, people being more open to talking to someone externally, outside school, outside their friend group, outside their family circle?
So we do quite a few programs. We like main point of Enable is just to let the audience know a little bit about it. Is that we have a fresh take on mental health, since we both ourselves are teenagers talking. There's a like large sector of mental health that's completely controlled by people who are psychologists, and they usually have to finish their masters to even be able to work in psychology. So the whole mental health sector right now is at least controlled by people above 25, 28, and they do not understand or relate to like a 13 or a 14 or a 15-year-old right now, because there's a huge generational gap in the last 10 years. Technology has taken over, and the way we live our lives is very different from how they do it. So we try to add a fresh perspective to mental health by being like able to give fresher ideas, more relatable content, more upbeat, more funky, I would say a little bit more like fun. We don't want, when we talk about mental health, it does not always have to be like sad and depressing and gloomy. Like yes, depression is a thing, and yes, mental health can be sad, but when you talk about it, it does not always have to be in a very negative aspect. You can talk about it with like pride and with positivity. So we try to first bring that awareness into the person, because once they look at mental health positively, I feel like then they'll be open to go to therapy, then they'll be open to take professional help. If they don't do that, and I feel like it'll always be something that's looked down upon by them.
Yeah, I think I completely agree that it's definitely not something to be embarrassed about. And currently there's a lot of stigma around it, and like this is a term that teachers, students throw around everywhere. That you know, people do not accept it as well as they should right now, and I think that's what Inner Bliss is trying to do, and it's trying to change that. It's trying to change the atmosphere and the bubble that's been created around these sort of health issues and mental health issues and whatever it may be, because there's like a vast spectrum of
Yeah.
things that people are going through. And of course you've given a lot of advice that people can check out on your Instagram page, but what's you personally would give to your friend a piece of advice that if they tell you, bro, they say that they're going through depression, may not be like hardcore depression, but you get what I'm trying to say, and what is the piece of advice that you would give to them?
I think it starts from like within, like at least based on what I've seen also, I'm like very truthful to it. To me, like yes, talking to someone is very important. Yes, going to therapy is very important. Those are steps, but it's always self-convincing, like knowing yourself from within. And I think that's like a level of maturity that always needs to come into someone. Like someone needs to sit and realize that there's something wrong with me, or there's a problem, or like I'm not feeling the best right now. So I think I try to tell them to try to understand themselves and self-realize, which can be done through like multiple ways. It can just be done by sitting and thinking. It can be done by writing. It can be done by doing something which makes you realize who you are, and then try to understand what's really making you feel bad. It could be a person that is really ruining your mood or ruining how you think and perceive life. There are like multiple things which can be just a factor making you feel bad. And I just think like it starts from like understanding yourself, because no one can truly help you, because it's your brain, it's your life, other than yourself, which is like important.
I think that's a very important point you made, and something that everyone struggles with still, and not related to mental health. It's decision making, and for me, that was a very hard part of something I went through when it was subjects, whether it was which sport I wanted to prioritize or which club I wanted to join. And a key decision that we all made right now was A levels or IBDP. And what influenced your decision? And you went through the IB, and so have I chosen the IB. What was that deciding factor?
Like I was always hell-bent on the IB since the ninth grade, because I feel like at least in India we only have A levels or IB for our curriculum, and I feel like the IB offers you so much more than A levels does. It's not just going into the subjects; it's learning outside the classroom with its CAS component, and even for like readers who do not know, we basically aren't fully assessed on our exams. We have to write research outside on our subject. We need to truly find what we're passionate about.
They're
So
painful and they take a lot of work, but I love them so much because
they're definitely rewarding.
it
Yeah.
helps me spread my percentage of where my marks are going and express my skills, because I personally love writing research papers and talking about real world issues, and that's why we both actually did MUN and
Yeah.
went to Harvard MUN and stuff like that. So that transitions there and it helps me spread the way I my marks are gone and graded. Okay, so now you know so we're talking about how IB helps you for the university and the future. What's the future looking like? Where we headed?
So I'm really looking forward to studying in the US. That's my dream, and I'm aiming the Ivy Leagues for economics. My dream is University of Pennsylvania, so that's something I've always like hoping to get since the eighth grade. That's like a dream of mine since then. But yeah, pretty much the US aiming the top colleges over there. And I feel like the IB does help a lot with that, because a lot of our friends and peers have gone to like top elite schools and colleges because of the IB. So I'm looking at that.
Yeah, and I think to just sum this segment up would be, before we jump into the fun and amazing that I've been looking forward to the entire episode, the quick fire round. What's an advice you would give to someone who's just joined IB, who's just joined IG, and just want to start their academic journey?
Um, I would say start early and start strong. Like get more clarity, and if you don't have clarity, try exploring as much as you can. Don't wait for the right time to start. Don't wait for the right time to get clarity. Just start early. Do how much ever you can. It's going to be rewarding. I've done a lot in the eighth and ninth grade, which I won't use anywhere ever again. It was a waste of my time. It was very gruesome for me to do all of that, but it gave me more clarity now. It has shaped me into who I am. So it might be like useless on paper, but it still made me into who I am today. So I think that's very important. So just I would say start and do whatever you like want to do and wish to do.
So now we're heading into my favorite part of this episode, which is the quick fire round, where I'm just going to throw a bunch of questions, some useful, some useless, and you're just going to answer them.
Done.
Okay? So, starting now. What's your favorite color?
Red.
What's your favorite video game?
Marvel Rivals.
What's your favorite Marvel movie?
Avengers Endgame, obviously.
Endgame. Ah. What's your favorite Marvel character?
Mystique.
Mystique. What's your favorite F1 team?
McLaren.
What's your favorite thing to do to pass the time?
Watch a movie.
Okay. What is your favorite energy drink?
Red Bull.
Holiday destination?
Ibiza.
Ibiza.
Yeah.
You have to wait till you get on 21, huh?
Yeah.
Just reminding you. Favorite MUN committee?
UNICEF.
Okay. An early morning or a late night?
Late night.
Written or typed notes?
Typed.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee.
Would you rather stay in or go out?
Stay in.
Stay in.
Yeah.
I prefer going out for sure. Dogs or cats?
Dogs, because I have a dog.
You have a dog? Yeah, even I have a dog. That's so cool. And I think that should be enough to wrap up this segment. And I think that was quite fun. And that's the most I've learned about you from this entire podcast. Even though we spoke for over 45 minutes. Yeah. And thanks, guys, for watching. And I hope you learned something, except for Raji's favorite color is red. Am I right?
Yeah, I hope.
See,
Guys, I really
this
do.
set's perfectly designed for him. The McLaren car, the Marvel figures,
It's who I am.
the monster.